Hello everyone, I am CA Payal Rajpal, faculty for CA Foundation Law and BCR at Anarchy Academy. So welcome to my next video lecture. In this, I am going to revise consideration chapter, which is unit 2 as per the institute material. So let's start. First of all, what is consideration? Section 2 clause D defined consideration as when at the desire of the promisor, promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing, does or abstains from doing, promises to do or abstain from doing something, then such an act is called consideration for that promise. In simple term, what is the analysis of this definition? Let's see. First is consideration can be for the positive act. Like offer can be positive act and for the negative act. In the same way, consideration is for the positive act and for the negative act. Like Shraddha and Nora are exchanging the handbag and rupees 5 lakh in consideration of each other promise. So here the consideration is for the positive act, like to do something. Next is consideration for the negative act. Like I am offering you 1000 rupees for not filing case against me. So here the consideration is for the negative act. Negative act, it means to abstain you from doing something, like to stopping you from doing something. So here the consideration is for the negative act. Next is consideration must move at the desire of the promisor. So consideration must be at the desire of the promisor. Like I am offering you my classes, so the consideration should be fixed by me. Here I am the promisor and you all are the promisee. So here the consideration move at my desire. Next is consideration may move from the promisee or any other person. Like it's mandatory that the consideration may move, but sometimes it may move from promisee or any other person. Any other person means the third person. So in simple terms, it means that the stranger to a consideration is allowed. See, mark my line. Stranger to a consideration is allowed. It is referred from this point. Consideration may move from promisee or any other person. There is a famous case law named Chinaya versus Ramaiya according to this point. Next is consideration may be for past, present or future. Like consideration for past act, present act and the future act, all is valid. You can see the example for the past act, like I have given you this revision video and I am not charging anything in return from you. It means I am not getting any consideration from you. Suppose you all will pass in November 2020 exam. I hope you all will pass. You all will pass in the November 2020 exam and you all are very excited. And now you all have decided to give me a reward for all these revision lectures and the videos that I am uploading. So here the consideration is for the act that I have already done in the past. So what is this consideration? This consideration is past consideration. Next is present consideration. Like I am offering you the classes and you are paying me the fees. So what is this example? This example is for the present consideration. Next is future consideration. Like I am giving you classes and you all have promised me to pay the consideration after 2 to 3 months or at the end of the course. So what is this consideration? This consideration is future consideration. Next point is legal rules regarding consideration. So what are the rules? Fastly recap. First is consideration must move at the desire of the promisor. Like I told you earlier, consideration must be fixed by the promisor and should be accepted by the promisee or any other person. Next point is consideration may move from promisee or any other person who is a stranger to a contract. Like a stranger to a consideration is valid. So what is the case law? Chinaya versus Ramaiya. So what is in this case law? An old lady enter into contract with her daughter to transfer her property on the condition that her daughter would pay certain annuity amount to her maternal uncle. So here the consideration is moving at the desire of the promisee, who is the old lady in this case, and here the promisor is her daughter, but the consideration is not moving as per the will of the daughter. Consideration is moving as per the wish of the old lady, that is promisee under this law, under this case law. Okay. Next is executed and executory consideration. Executed consideration is also known as past consideration and executory consideration is also known as future consideration, and the example for that I have already given. Next is consideration may be for past, present and future. Again this is repeated. Next is consideration need not be adequate. It means the adequacy of consideration is not required. Like the consideration should not match in equal value with the promises that you have performed. It means, like I can give you the example. I am giving you classes, I am devoting my 3 to 4 months of time in giving you lectures, but I am charging only 1000 rupees for that for 3 months. So here, is this consideration valid? Yes, it's valid because it is an agreement between the two parties. If we both are okay with that, then law will not interfere in that. Next point is Performance of what one is legally bound to perform. It means if something is legally told, that is one, if one is legally bound to perform anything, then for such acts he can't demand any consideration. He or she can't demand any consideration for that act. Like appearing as a witness in a court is and charging consideration for that is completely void, because appearing in court as a witness is your legal duty to perform, and for that if you are charging anything extra, then it's not valid, because consideration is not acceptable in that situation. Next is consideration must be real and not illusory. It means consideration must be for real activity and not for the illusion. Illusion means bhram, like discovering the treasure by magic and you are demanding 5 lakh rupees in return. So is this consideration valid? No, because you are demanding it for the illusory activity. Next is consideration must not be unlawful, immoral, or opposed to public policy. Like example, you can't demand consideration for murder, for doing suicide, for doing rape. All these are opposed to public policy. All these are immoral in nature. All these are unlawful. This consideration becomes void. This consideration is not valid in the eyes of law. Next is suit by third party to a contract. So here, as a general rule, I told you earlier that stranger to consideration is allowed, but stranger to contract is not allowed. And the term is used here, doctrine of privity of contract. It means that a stranger to a contract can't sue the parties to a contract. But there are certain exceptions to these. First is in case of trust. If there is a relationship of trust, then the beneficiary can file a suit against the parties to a contract. Next is in case of family settlement. If the family settlement is going on, then even if you are not party to contract, you can enforce the agreement and you can file a suit against the party. Example, like in your family, the family settlement is going on, partition is going on, and the property is divided into 4 parts. And if someone has done any fraud, then even if you are not party to a contract, you can enforce your right and file a suit against the other family members. Next is in case of marriage contracts, like your father has done marriage contract with someone family, with other family, okay, and if you are beneficiary under the contract because the marriage is of yours and the other boy or other girl, you can say. So if anything wrong happen in that case, or the contract is not in favor of yours, then you can also enforce a contract, or you can also enforce it and file a suit against the other family. Next is in case of assignment of contract. Here the assignee can also enforce the contract because he is beneficiary under the contract. Next is acknowledgement or estoppel. It means if you acknowledge your liability in front of the public, then afterward you can't deny it. For example, like if you have to pay 1000 rupees to me as fees, and unfortunately you are out of town, and you have handed over that amount to another of your friend, and your friend called me and said that, ma'am, I have that amount and I will pay you in coming months, like you can given me any date. And afterward if you deny it that no, I have not done any call, then do you think it's valid? No, it's not valid, because you acknowledge itself, you acknowledge yourself that you are liable to pay and you have money. So now you can't deny, even if you are not party to contract, still you have the liability to pay me. Okay. Next is the in case of covenant running with the land. It means the terms and condition running with the land. So if the person who purchases the land with notice that the owner is bound to discharge certain duties against this land, then even if the person who is the new buyer is not the contract of the earlier original contract, still he or she is liable to pay that amount, because it's the covenant running with the land and you have to discharge it. Like you purchase some property on which the tax of the government is still due, and now you have to pay the tax even if the original owner is discharged from his liability, but you are not discharged because it's the covenant running with the land. Next point is contract entered into through agent. So if a contract is entered into by agent, but still the principal is liable if the agent has done that act within his authority and in the name of the principal, because the agent and the principal relationship is the near and near relationship, you can say. Next is validity of an agreement without consideration. So section 25, or as a general rule, an agreement without consideration is void. You can see that there is an essential element of a valid contract. You have read section 10. So there consideration is an essential element. So any agreement without consideration is void as per section 25. But again, there are certain exceptions in which the agreement without consideration is allowed and completely valid. What are these exceptions? First is natural love and affection. So So natural love and affection, if the agreement is entered out of natural love and affection, it is valid. But here there are four conditions. First is it made out of natural love and affection between the parties. Parties stand in near relationship to each other. It must be in writing and must be registered under the law. What are the four conditions? Past must be out of natural love and affection, near relationship, writing, and registered. Example, like husband and wife, if there is a contract between husband and a wife, even though it is social agreement, but if that agreement is written and registered, then it become enforceable and the husband and wife can file a suit against each other. Next is compensation for past voluntary services, like I gave you example earlier. So if you have come forward to pay for any past voluntary services, then compensation for that is valid even if without consideration. But here again you have to satisfy four conditions. What are those conditions? First, the services have been rendered voluntarily. The services must have been rendered for the promisor. Promisor must be in existence at the time of performance of the service, and the promisor must have intended to compensate the promisee. So if all these conditions are satisfied, then consideration for compensation or consideration for the past voluntary services is valid. Next is promise to pay the time barred debt. Even if the debt become time barred, but if you come forward to pay that debt, then that debt become valid even if without consideration. Like you have to pay some certain amount to x and y person, and that debt become due beyond 3 years. Yeah, it means it become time barred. So even if it become time barred after 3 years, after suppose in the fourth year you come forward to pay certain amount and you promises to do it in writing, then even if then what it means, the earlier contract become null and void, and in the eyes of the law it is a separate contract which is entered and which is without consideration, because you are paying you are discharging your liability, but the other person is not doing anything. Even if the consideration is not moved from the side of the other person, but this contract is valid because it's promised to pay the time barred debt. Next is agency. So 185 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 says that no consideration is required to create an agency. So if agency is created, at the time of creation of agency, do you think any consideration is required? No, there is an agreement between the two persons. When the contract is going on or when the agent performed his task, then he or she will receive the commission. At the time of creation of agency, no consideration will flow. Next is completed gifts. In case of completed gifts, rule of no consideration, no contract does not apply. Like the gifts you already had given. So do you think the other person will give you something in return? No, you have already given that gift and now you won't expect anything in return. So the completed gift, the concept of no consideration, no contract does not apply. Next is bailment contract. So what is the bailment contract? Bailment contract means a contract in which one party transfer certain articles, certain goods for the use by the other party, and when the person is served, then that person will give back or return back the goods after the completion of your purpose, after the completion of the time period. So this is the bailment contract. So if you are transferring something to other person, so what the other person is giving you something? No, there is no consideration flow from the side of the other person. So even if there is no consideration, but still the bailment contract is valid, and you have to read this chapter in CA Inter. Next is charity. If you are doing some charity work, okay, then it's completely valid because you are not getting anything in return from the other person. But if you are doing some charity and the other person, on the faith of your giving your charity, does incur any liability against that charity, then you are liable for that charity if you afterward deny it. In simple terms, I am sharing one example with you. Like you are going to some temple for visiting, okay, and or gurdwara you can say, and you said that I will donate AC to the gurdwara, okay, and now on the faith that you are donating the AC, the gurdwara head is incurring certain expenditure and promises other party goes to the shop for doing shopping and incur liability of around 50,000 against your charity work, and afterward you deny that I am not giving you AC, okay, afterward you deny, but that person is incurred the liability of 50,000. So if that person file a case against you, so is this case valid? Yes, this case is valid because you have promises to do charity and afterward you deny it, but the other person incurs some liability on the faith of your giving of the charity. So this charity becomes enforceable, and even if it is without consideration, but it is valid. So that's the end of the revision of the term or the chapter consideration. I hope you all enjoy the video. Thanks for watching.